Today, so the entire piece really revolves around this one single question. And it's not looking for some simple dictionary definition, right? It's digging way deeper. It's asking, what does this idea of a relative actually mean in our day-to-day lives, in our actual experiences? The first place our minds almost always go, the very foundation of that traditional sense, is this idea of a blood connection. I mean, it feels simple, it feels biological, it's almost undeniable, It's just the default answer.
And this concept, this blood tie or 血缘, is really the core idea here. It just means we're related because we share ancestors. For generations, this has been the bedrock of how we understand what kinship even is.
But just as we get comfortable with that idea, the text just shatters it with this really unsettling thought. It throws this deep contradiction at us, that the very people who are defined by the closeness of blood are often, in reality, complete strangers to each other. And this, right here, just captures that central conflict perfectly. On one side, you have the ideal of the blood tie, this deep, supposedly unbreakable bond. But then, on the other side, you've got the lived reality of strangers, which is all about distance and, well, alienation. The text basically argues that, for a lot of people, that second column is the actual truth. Okay, so if the bond isn't really about blood, then what is it about? Well, the text suggests that it's often a relationship defined not by love or affection, but by this crushing, unspoken sense of obligation and the immense personal cost that comes right along with it. And the text just lays out the price of this obligation with this brutal, relentless list. I mean, think about this. For relatives, people lose sleep, they can't eat. Children become these tools to be sacrificed. People literally work until they die from exhaustion. They put up with bullying, with deprivation, and ultimately they are forced to become deaf, blind, and mute to the unfairness within their own families, all just to keep the peace. It's heavy stuff.
And this is the core logic, or maybe the anti-logic, that holds this entire system together. This sense of duty operates completely outside the normal rules of reason. You don't do it because it makes sense or because it's fair. You do it because you feel you have to. It's an absolute, unquestionable demand. So this all builds up to the text's most powerful image, this really striking metaphor of a radish garden. And it's used to show how these dynamics don't just hurt individuals. They actually create this toxic cycle that gets passed down from one generation to the next.
This just brilliantly illustrates the whole destructive cycle. Let's walk through it, because it's pretty wild. First, parents work themselves to the bone for their kids. Second, if anything at all goes wrong, the children blame their parents' incompetence. And here is the devastating conclusion. To make sure our radish, our own child, succeeds, the family feels like it has to chop down other radishes. It creates a zero-sum game inside the family where lifting one person up actually requires tearing another person down. And the text? It does not soften this blow one bit. It describes this internal family dynamic in the starkest terms you can imagine. It's not just a disagreement or some sibling rivalry. No, it's a war. It's a continuation of old conflicts being played out again and again and again. And that, of course, brings us to another one of these piercing questions from the text. I mean, after all this sacrifice, all this internal conflict, this whole cycle of harm, can we genuinely look at the result and call it love? Or is it something else entirely, just wearing the name of love? The outcome of this entire system, it isn't joy, it isn't support. According to the text, the result is just a profound, deep-seated exhaustion, a kind of societal weariness that's born from the immense pressure of all these traditional obligations. And so, here we are, right back where we started, with the exact same question. But now, it's not so simple, is it? After going on this journey through these ideas of blood and obligation and harm, the question just lands differently. The text doesn't give us any easy answers. It just forces us to confront the question for ourselves. So what really are relatives?